Alright, we're heading out on the trip to one of the most famous motorcycle destinations known to man, Wayne, Nebraska. People ask, why Nebraska?
That is a great question.
Why
not?
Why not?
Yeah, so there's going to be a whole ride series on this particular ride where we rode out attempting to get to Nebraska. Fortunately, we had a breakdown on my bike and had to spend a couple days in Fort Collins getting it fixed. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to cover valve ticking, or the knocking noise in the R1200 motor. So these next clips coming up, try to listen real carefully for that. You don't have to listen that carefully, actually. The ticking gets louder and louder the further we got into the trip, and we actually tried to find somewhere to stop in Salt Lake to have it looked at. Unfortunately, the dealers were all closed because it was a Monday, and so we carried on to Fort Collins and were able to get it looked at there. And so this video covers what we found, and hopefully it will help you diagnose yours if it's doing something similar. There's not a whole lot of information that we could find out there on this particular situation, other than the fact that it happens more often than we originally thought.
Out of Craig, Colorado for the most anticipated leg. We're going up over the Rockies into Fort Collins. We're going to go to the BMW dealership, have my bike checked out. From what we looked up, there's a decompression lobe or decompression portion of the cam on the right cylinder. It's a decompression lever so you can start the engine. 2013 to 2016, the cam was noisy, so the general consensus is it's fine. It doesn't hurt the bike, it's just loud. But the solution would be to change the right head, the right side cams. So we're going to stop in at the BMW repair station in Fort Collins and see what they've done. Alright, good morning. So, a little update on the trip. We are stuck in Fort Collins, Colorado. And the reason is, I'll show a picture of it, but the intake cam on the right cylinder has a groove worn in it. And that's because the rocker arms, they had a bad batch of rocker arms. And this, unfortunately, this motorcycle had one of those rocker arms. So what they're going to do is they're going to replace the cam and then all 8 rocker arms on both cylinders. And those parts are hard to come by. We were able to get them overnighted tonight, and they should be here either sometime tomorrow, hopefully. And they may get it done Thursday. If not, they'll get it done Friday. It's currently Wednesday. So we're staying at this kind of budget motel in Fort Collins. We gotta kind of decide what to do. It does run, it just sounds terrible. Matter of fact, I'll run it in a bit. You guys can hear what it sounds like. It's pretty awful. I don't really want to ride it anymore. I have put 1,200 miles on it, so it's not like it's gonna blow up. And the dealership's about 4 miles from here, so I'm gonna ride it over there, and they're gonna hopefully let me continue to use a loaner bike they let me borrow yesterday. And we can cruise around town and kind of explore Fort Collins a little bit, maybe go up in the mountains on the loaner bike. The only problem is my luggage. Either we're going to stay in this hotel room and just leave the stuff here, and then when the bike's done I can come back and get that stuff, or I don't know. The loaner bike doesn't have any racks or anything on it, so having all that luggage is the big issue right now. The other option, I guess, would be rent a car, but you know, I don't want to do that. So let me grab the keys. I'll run it for you guys so you can hear what I'm talking about. trust me when I tell you, when you're riding it, it is like so painful to hear, especially now that we know what it is. So that basically that cam is not pushing the intake valve all the way in, so the intake valve travel is real short because of the groove in the cam, and it just is tapping so loud. So we're gonna get it fixed.
And earlier on the highway, he was coming up behind me 70 miles an hour. I can hear it ticking, and I actually asked him, is that a lawnmower chasing me? It was so loud.
Yeah, so you know, when I originally bought this bike, it had a slight tick on that right side. I looked in the forums or something about the decompressor lever in there possibly making intermittent ticking noises. This is not intermittent, so if you guys are trying to diagnose your bike noises, this is a constant tick that increases with the RPM, so it's constant, meaning it's not something intermittent. It will not go away all the way through the revs up to, if you take it up to 6,000 or whatever RPM, it's going to increase in the speed of the sound will increase. So it's definitely part of the valve training, obviously, if after taking the valve cover off and seeing it. But if you guys are trying to diagnose the ticking noise, let's start Lee's bike, and you can listen to his in comparison, and you can kind of hear the difference. These do make ticking noises because of the valve train, but that's significant, and then Lee's is different. All right, so just for a comparison, Lee's gonna grab his keys and we'll start up his bike, and you can listen for that ticking noise. Yeah, all these BMWs make a little bit of ticking noise. It's, you know, kind of a characteristic of a boxer engine, so it's really, you got to listen to the severity of it to be concerned. Like mine had a ticking noise when we started the trip, very faint, and it's just grown and gotten extremely loud over the past 1,200 miles to the point where we knew something was wrong. So Lee's has got, I think, what we would consider normal head noise on his. So he's gonna grab his keys and start his up, and you guys can compare the noises here. All right, here's Lee's bike. So you can tell there's a pretty big difference. Right when you started, you heard the tick tick and it went away. That's the decompressor lever changing change the cam height.
Yeah,
it changes the cam shape a little bit and puts a little more pressure on the exhaust valve in order to lower the compression for start. And after it starts, that centrifugal force throws that lever out, and then it stops doing that. Or vice versa. It throws it in, and then I don't know how it actually mechanically works.
Increases the compression so that the starter motor can turn it over. He said that without that, the compression is so high that it would not even be able to turn the motor over.
And it's on both sides, so a lot of the forum posts talk about, you hear all this on the right side cylinder because it has the decompressor lever on the right side. That's not true. It is on the right side, but it's also on the left side. We pulled both and talked to the service tech about it, and they are on both sides, so it lowers the compression in both cylinders. So that's where we're at. We're stuck in Fort Collins for the next 3 days. Hopefully maybe shorter than that, maybe 2 days if we get lucky. And I'll report on whether or not BMW is going to cover this. The fix is to replace the cam. Initially they said all 4 cams need to be replaced at $660 per cam, and all 8 rocker arms. It was going to be $4,500. Then they looked at the service bulletin on it, or whatever they call it, the tech report or whatever, and you only have to replace the affected cam. So there's only one bad cam, but you do have to replace all 8 rocker arms. So 1 cam, 8 rocker arms came out to about $2,500, and that's still a lot. So they put in a claim to BMW. It's out of warranty, but it sounds like they may cover it because it's a known defect. If not, we were going to trailer it home, and that would have cost almost $2 grand to rent a truck to do that. So either way, I'm out probably $2 grand unless BMW steps up to the plate. Really hope they do, because it's absolutely not my fault. You know, they said it's a coating issue on the rocker arm. Talked about some sort of diamond coating or something that they did, and it didn't adhere right, and so these rocker arms eat into the cam lobe. So they know about it. They know it's an issue. They know bikes from 2013 to 2019 could be affected by the bad batch of rocker arms. So they really should cover it. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll report back. Should hear from them this morning. All right, so we're sitting in the actually really nice lounge area here at NOCO Motorsports in Fort Collins, Colorado. My bike didn't actually break down. It just got to a point where riding it was painful to the ears. Really loud valve ticking. Might have covered some of it already with the walk around, but what had happened was the rocker arm, they have a known issue with the rocker arm coating in the bad batch that BMW may or may not have put in bikes between 2013 and 2019. It wore a groove in the cam lobe on the right cylinder intake cam. So that cam has to be replaced. At the same time, they want to replace all the rocker arms. So first, the problem was we got to get the parts. So we've been here in Fort Collins now. This is day 3. The parts did come in this morning, so now we're waiting. And then the other issue is whether or not BMW is going to cover the cost of it. So they put in a claim. As of right now, they're denying it. I mean, I'll show you guys pictures of what it looks like. It's an obvious manufacturer defect. So I'm struggling with that a little bit, and we're a little frustrated with the situation. But these guys here at NOCO Motorsports in Fort Collins have been awesome. They've been super accommodating. They let me borrow a bike so we could at least ride around this area. We did a great ride yesterday up into Estes Park, and so we're trying to make the best of it, but we're now waiting. They're actually fixing the bike today, so we're kind of waiting to see how it all pans out. So we'll try to keep you updated. Fingers crossed. All right, so not so good news now. BMW has decided to decline covering the cost of this for a couple reasons. One, I bought the bike secondhand, and 2, it's outside of warranty. Although other people have had experiences where they have covered it, in this particular case, they're not going to. So it's very frustrating. I just called and talked to the customer service center myself, talked to Sean, whose employee number is 1464. Sean, I didn't appreciate it. They basically made me feel like going to get a KTM, to be perfectly honest. Pretty upset about it. I would expect BMW to do better, so I'm a little upset at the moment. That'll do awesome in the dirt.
Totally, I think you can totally stand up.
I could see you doing that. 10 cup pass on that sucker. Alright, so BMW did deny this claim. However, the guys here at Northern Colorado Power Sports are amazing. They called a rep with BMW. They're going to work, they're going to cover the parts and some of the labor, leaving me just a few $100s to get this fixed, which is 100% reasonable, especially with the way they've treated us with the loaner bike, and just been really great.
Yep. Steve in service has been nothing but fantastic.
Steve Hansen's been fantastic. All these guys here have been, we've been hanging out here. They've been real accommodating. Yes. Let us look at all the fancy stuff they have here, check out the store. So I couldn't be happier right now, especially after talking on the phone with BMW. I was very upset, ready to sell the bike and buy a KTM. Maybe I'll hold off on that.
See if we make it home.
See if we make it home. Yeah, make sure it runs good. But they're finishing up the bike right now. We should be on the road. It's 1:20. We should be on the road here pretty soon.
So I found this PDF online that basically describes the issue. So I'll try to put a link to it if I can in the description so you guys can have access to this. It covers the faulty rocker arm and the symptoms, which bikes it applies to. It applies to a lot of bikes. So you can kind of, this is a video of scrolling through it. You guys can check it out. And like I said, I'll try to post it in the description below. Everything else went well. We got the bike back together, headed out about 4:30, and we're able to finish the trip. So tune in to the Motorcycle Adventure channel for the details on that specific trip. We'll have quite a few episodes covering it. But I did want to cover this particular breakdown, so thanks for watching.